implement, because y'all are learning on a constant basis, which is great, but it's time to implement. And you just had some really good, simple steps that you can implement today. Go practice. Like I said, go on Instagram, send me a DM. I don't care. Whatever works for you. So implement is the first one.
All right. Welcome to an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have a co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for being here. I know that you're not feeling so hot and still showing up for us.
Yeah, I'm here to support and meet these wonderful people like our guests we have here.
Let's go. Today, you already see him on the screen. Awesome individual. This individual is helping real estate professionals get more deliberate. Stop chasing, get more deliberate, do videos. I always like to say, be proactive, leverage your past efforts for your future successes. And I'm so excited because I think this is the first time we've had a video coach on the show. So thanks to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring the show. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us a review if you find value. And at the end of the episode, you can tell us what you learned. We have the one and only. Welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology, your number one resource to get the inside scoop from top performing real estate professionals. How are they growing their business utilizing technology in today's market? Hear also from top performing coaches that can help and serve you in your real estate business, and also technology providers. Let's go deeper with these technology providers to ask them how they got where they're at today and how maybe their services could better serve your real estate business. A big shout out to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring our podcast. Go ahead and go to liftoffagent.com to learn about their marketing and positioning services to help scale your real estate business. If you haven't already done so, like the episode, subscribe. We want you to comment on YouTube what you learned from the episode and give us a review if you're going to be listening and streaming this podcast. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and enjoy this week's podcast of Real Estate vs. Technology. Ed from California on the show. Welcome to Real Estate vs. Tech.
Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. And be sure, all of you who are watching, be sure to engage down below in the comments, because that's going to be key for our conversation today.
Yes, please do that. And it was funny yesterday. We had what was his name? Rod, Dan. And this guy was like up there as a coach and influencer, and he has a number one commercial podcast, and he was just like asking us a bunch of questions. And so we need to make sure our listeners and viewers get the value here and give us reviews so we can serve this amazing real estate industry. Let's start from the top, Ed. Tell us about yourself, your business, like video real estate coach. What? How'd you get to where you're at, dude? Yeah, who are you?
That is the question. Who am I? Yeah, I'm a video coach specializing in helping real estate agents use their phones to get started with their video production and get comfortable with not only being on camera, but also the technology that's involved with it. Because there's a lot going on there between mindset and tech and what we can and can't do. And so that's really where I'm at now. But how I got here was actually through my own struggles and my own journey of starting my business and trying to figure out how to market myself differently than others out there. And so for me, I started my business a little over 7 years ago in web design and tech, because that's the background I had.
Yeah.
And I knew that there's other web people and tech and social media out there. So it's like, how do I stand out? And that was right when live streaming, if anybody remembers Periscope.
Wow.
Yeah, Periscope. That's when it was just starting to come around. And I thought to myself, that's it. I have to get on video. But wait a minute. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I'm the guy behind the camera, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, okay, so that's genius. I got to be on video, but I don't want to be on video. But how am I going to stand out? So yeah, so you can see the challenge, and feel free to cut me off anytime. But when we're thinking about the struggle, it's like, okay, we want to be, for agents, we want to stand out. We need to get leads, especially the shifting in the market and everything.
Yeah.
And it's not just leads for today, but leads that continue to come in over time, right? We're in it for the long haul. And so we have to find those ways that we can stand out. And so video is that way, even to this day. And for me, what I had to do was have a real talk with myself. I literally sat in my backyard and had a sit down conversation with myself saying, okay, video is the way that I'm going to stand out. That's how I'm going to get noticed. And that's how my business is going to survive. I either do this or I don't, and I probably won't be here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally the conversation I had with myself. And from that point on, because I wanted this so bad to have my own business again and to run it full time, I said, that's it. We got to do it. And we got to get over those fears and get that confidence to be out there and show up as only I can.
Interesting.
I can relate to your story because I was an introvert. Like, I like to do good work and do good things, but I didn't want to be in front and center or on video. Right. That was the struggle. Right. Like, Norm's actually the one who pushed me. Like, I started my real estate team and he's like, just start shooting video. And I was like,
just do it. You got it.
And I don't have a crazy following. I have like 1,500 followers, but I would say of those 1,500 followers, 1,300 of them are in my local area.
Huge.
That's all that matters.
Huge. Yeah.
And that's a key point there that I want everyone to take away. Start getting out your notes if you haven't, because that's a key point there. Don't be so concerned about the numbers in terms of your followers, because again, like you just said, you could have 1,500, you can have 5,000, but what really matters is, are they your ideal clients, and are they in the area that you serve? So that's what I want you to really focus on, especially because I know as agents, you're using Instagram a lot, which is great, and keep using it. But also we have to understand from the tech side of things, there's a lot of fake accounts. We call them bots. And people buy those bots to make their numbers go up, to make them look more important and more popular. But that will skew the numbers, not only publicly, but when you go to look at your data to see when the best time to post is, because that question always comes up. What's your audience like? Where are they at? When you start looking at the data, it's going to be off if you do any of these things where you're buying followers and you're just accepting all these random requests. So just keep that in mind.
I love that. And I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I had no problem doing video. I just needed to learn how to be my true authentic self and not try to like do a persona of like, I'm someone that I'm not. Back in my 20s, I was like, oh, look at me. And like, no. So I had to refocus and be like, all right, let's be real. Like, who am I? And like, how am I showing up? And I don't need to act like I'm like some rapper over here back in my 20s. And I think some people out there, that's for me anyways, might have no problem getting in front of a camera, but just they're not being their true authentic self. They're trying to act like they're someone they're not because they want people to like them instead of just being who they are. And people will like you and some people won't like you.
And on this note, before we jump to another question that Norman's going to have, that's probably great, is that we see a lot of trendiness in the real estate video business, right? And I want to share this. This is not to put anybody on blast, but I'm going to put a bunch of people on blast. One of the very first things one of the very first things I do as a real estate professional, both in marketing, investing, and residential, is when I see somebody with 10, 15, 20, 25,000 followers, and depending on what they are, let's just say they're a real estate agent, one of the first things I do is I jump on Zillow and I see how many deals they're doing. I'll copy and paste their name, go to Zillow and see how many listings they currently have and how many past sales they have. And there is an astounding disconnect between people who may have a huge following on Instagram, but they suck at being a real estate agent or converting clients. And
true.
The point I'm trying to bring up is that if you're going to coach people, if you're going to train in specific marketing pieces, that's great. That's awesome. Do it. Create programs, training, schedule, help people build and scale their business, right? You're not saying you're an expert in real estate. Right. But if you are a licensed real estate agent and you're too worried about how many followers you have, or did your reel get 10,000, views, you don't have any listings and you haven't represented a buyer in 6 months. Really, you're just another bot to me.
Yeah. It's so true. I love that you bring that up because, when we think about social media and jumping on these trends, listen, if you're an agent who likes to jump on the trends and you like to dance and do whatever, no problem. That's part of your personality. Do it, enjoy it. but don't feel like you have to jump on these trends to get these followers who may or may not even be your ideal clients. Like, again, like Norman said, be your authentic self. And if you're not sure how to do that, there's processes that you have to go through, which part of that is actually recording video and being able to do it consistently.
Yeah.
Whether or not you share it publicly yet, because again, there's stages, and I like to say, you know, let's layer them on top of each other. Really understand that being trendy right now, that's not the long-term game. And when we're talking about being a real estate agent, and we're talking about, you know, having the time, money, and freedom, and being able to, you know, get more deals and be using video, we're talking about long-term game here.
Yeah.
Sure, things can come quickly and happen, you know, after one video or the next day or whatever, but that's not the goal. The goal is to start, to be consistent at it, to keep doing the work and giving out valuable information so that you can attract those leads. They're going to be more qualified and they're going to be reaching out to you, and then you can have those deals and continue to get those referrals.
Wow. Interesting. So before we get to the mix up around with Dan, I have last question for me, kind of like for the viewers and listeners, kind of in my mind, taking everything that was just said and kind of like saying, okay, like what would be like the next question? I feel like a good question would be for like an action step. So like if someone's filming content, they don't have a lot of listings but they're getting lots of views, but it's not converting. There's no ROI, there's no leads, like they're just popular, or maybe they just have lots of views, or maybe they're paying for it. It's fake, it's a facade. Like what would be your best practice technique to film a video and have it actually produce? Like, is there like a subliminal message in there? Is there a specific technique? Like what success have you had with your clients that you would recommend for the listeners?
Yeah, great question. Lots to unpack there. So just tipping the iceberg here is check the call to action. Are you giving a call to action?
True.
What is that call to action? And when are you giving it? And how often are you giving it?
Yeah.
Right. I was just talking to a client the other day who has a very popular YouTube channel and gets the views, gets the comments, which is great. But now it's like, how do we convert those over to actual connections, direct connections that then you can follow up and have more conversations around? And it was email list. How do we get them over to the email list, right? So we have to start thinking about ways that we can incorporate social and other business functions like email marketing and be able to give, again, value in both locations. But we have to really understand that these social platforms, while they're great to use and we should be using them to market ourselves, we have to understand we don't own them. And at any point in time, we can and will get shut down. It happens a lot.
It's happened.
Yes, same here. My Instagram, after 7 years, gone. Like, it happens. And so you have to prepare for that. It's not if, it's when. And you want to start moving these followers to conversations, to then places where you actually have more control over. So that's where I would start, is call to action, and think about ways that you can redirect them to platforms that you have more control over.
Wow. That's awesome. And for our viewers and listeners, that's what we've been trying to do here for y'all is we're getting views. We want your comments. We want your feedback, because at the end of the day, you know, it's cool to get the views or get some likes, but the conversation has to be started somewhere. So then that way there's like some type of like give, take, here's a suggestion, here's an idea. Thanks for the takeaway. Cool. We're adding value. But we're going to switch it up. Give it to Dan for the mix-up round.
And real quick on that note.
Yeah.
Here's another incentive for you guys to start commenting on this video and all the past ones you've been watching from this podcast. It's free promotion for yourself. You have a profile photo, you have a name that gets there. So when people click, because trust me, I'm clicking on your faces and I'm checking out your profiles, and I see a lot of things missing, but that's a whole nother story. But this is free advertising for you. And then when you use platforms like LinkedIn, you get even more exposure, because it not only has your name, your profile photo, but it has a little headline. So just dropping that little tip for you.
Ooh, I like that. All right. Be the first. Comment below.
Now, there's two things I want to kind of talk about in this mix-up round. One is something, let's back up a little bit to that content creation and coming up with ideas that actually stick, that's going to turn into a conversion.
Yeah.
And what I like to practice, and I want to get your input on this, is the nitty gritty is kind of like when you're in an industry from the outside, you don't really know what's going on. Like you only see it from the, the 20,000 feet above level.
Yep.
Nitty gritty is really like reality TV or an Instagram profile, right? Like a lot of the content that I distribute is like, this just happened. This just happened. And that gets the best conversion because I'll literally have people reach out to me and say, listen, like, I watched your one video about this last night. I got a call from another agent last night and he was like, listen, I just watched your other video. I put it in my email newsletter, exactly what you said.
Let's go.
And so I want to encourage people out there and I want to get your advice on how to package that up and how do you create a content calendar regarding it, is taking what is happening to you and turning it into good content.
I love that you bring this up because we are thankfully in a world where the more raw and real your videos are, the more they're going to convert. It just happens that way. I mean, look at how many people do videos in their car and they get so much attention because it's like, wait, must be so important because they pulled over, even if they're parked, right? Like we want to know what's going on. And so the more you can have that in your videos, the better versus the polished look. I mean, obviously there's a time and place for that for certain things, but when we're talking about like everyday, getting out there, being in the field, doing all the work, grab your phone and document as much as possible. Don't even worry about sharing it at this point, because that can tie into your content calendar, right? Like everyone has a different way of scheduling things out. Some are going to be on the fly. Some are going to be, every week they're planning, or every month, or maybe even, 6 months out or longer. So worry about documenting where you're at, which is why I love being able to teach people how to use from their phone, because that's always with you. And you're always going to be able to grab that content and then you can figure out what to do with it later. So that's where I would say, really start with the phone, grab the video, have moments like that, like this just happened, or, take a look at this, even if you don't even know what you're going to do with it yet. Because again, we're trying to get you, one, to use what you have, start where you are, create the video content, and then see what you can do with it afterwards. Because after that moment's passed, it's gone. And you want to be able to have that content to refer back to be able to put it out there if you see it fit somewhere.
100%.
Answer that question? I'm not sure.
No, you did.
Good.
I've been a big fan of keeping it in the phone, and if it's good enough, throwing it in Google Drive, then like trying to build a folder of like, this needs to be used, right? But next question, it's back to what you originally said, which was bridging from social to email list, from social to a Calendly, from social to calling you or texting you, right?
Yes.
I think there's a lot of great agents out there with great content, great design, branding, everything.
Yeah.
They even have pretty good call to actions, but they're not generating customers because they're not bridging them with the right content at the right time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your feedback on that topic, which is really, is it more of the market update approach? Like, this is what's happening right now that you need to, disseminate to all your followers? Or is it looking at the market and looking at what opportunities there are for people and speaking directly to that?
Oh, both, I think, but both can really apply. Like, I think especially right now, when we hear so much information that's just not adding up in the local areas from the national level, right? We hear so much misinformation, and having these local market updates, I think, are still going to be really crucial for agents to do. Because again, we don't pretend like nothing's happening. Like, I mean, educate your audience. And here's the thing, you've spent time, money, and energy learning all this stuff, or at least I hope you did, right? And it's time for you to start sharing that out more and putting it to use. And that's what's going to make you become the agent of choice for when that person is ready to buy or whatever their journey is. So first off, having those market updates is huge. And then anytime you can start doing stuff in the local areas that you serve, like spotlighting a business, spotlighting an area, like how cool would that be for you to go down to your favorite coffee shop and just ask the owner if they wouldn't mind you doing a quick little interview with them. It's free advertising for them. It gets you content and it helps your prospective audience, your prospects, I should say, be able to not only get to know the area and the hotspot, but also you. And then you don't have to be on camera the whole time either. For those who are like, oh, I don't really want to be on camera. You don't have to be on it the whole time. You can have some interactions going on. So it's really being able to take a step back and look at what are you doing? What are you not doing? And then being able to identify those things in your local area that you can start pursuing, because one, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. You don't have to become a video editor. You don't have to have the perfect setup. You just have to have a few things in place, and you already have the majority of them right here. And then go out there and start doing the work. And then as you do it, just like cold calling, you don't like cold calling, but you got to do it. As you do it, you start to get at least better at it in the sense that, okay, I have my script that I'm going to say, or I feel comfortable saying this or that, or showing up here, whatever the case may be. So start. That's the key here, is start doing this. And then again, we can layer things on top of it as you go throughout your video journey here.
Wow. Love it. All good content and all good information. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that was awesome. Thanks, Dan, for that mix up round. Just kind of unpack it real quick. I love how you said both. There's a cool book for viewers and listeners out there called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. They say if you have option A or B, just take both. And I love that. Some cases could be, like you said, it could be a market update. Other cases could be spotlight area specific type content. We harp on that all of the time as a number one marketing positioning agency that sponsors this podcast, Liftoff Agent. And use case scenario would be Levi. I mean, Levi is one of our largest referral partners, and he did 33.5 million, and he did $1 million in gross commission earned first year in business. So, and that was just YouTube. Zero. It
doesn't work. I don't know what else does.
Yeah, and not only to add what Ed said, you also get to build relationship. I think the fourth or like three things, relationship with the owner, which then potentially you and that owner could start to go back and forth, and the owner could be wanting to upsize. The owner could potentially want to be buying an investment property. So you never know what you could do, and it builds your credibility, brand equity within your local community, because you're serving the community. And that ties into another big book, 7 Triggers to Yes, to get people to be like, hey, like, you did this for me. I wasn't expecting it. Let me do this back for you. So that's really good stuff, Ed. Appreciate that. Couple last questions. And at the end of the show, we always like to have the floor be yours. So anything that you want to leave for our viewers and listeners. So the next question is what is your goals and aspiration for this real estate industry when it comes to video? And what do you want to see? What do you want to see in the future for these real estate professionals out there? Anyone that's listening when it comes to video and then applying that as part of their business plan?
Oh, such a good question. Really, I want to see the promotion of what I call video positivity. It's really promoting a more positive experience for all of us to be on video as ourselves, attracting our ideal clients, right? And the connections that we want. So it's really about seeing more agents show up on video, not having everything set up perfectly, and just being able to still show up, deliver their information, and engage with those who are engaging with them. That's really the goal here.
And that's the complete opposite of all the stuff that we get out there right now in the fun, what have you. It's all like the negativity. Oh my God, everyone's going to die. Watch out, stay in your home.
Market's crashing.
Yeah, market's crashing. And you're over here like, just keep it positive, okay? All right.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, because when you have that positive mindset and that attitude, you attract more people, because we have a lot of negative things happening in the world. We have a lot of negativity out there, and people want something that's more positive and happy. And when we see somebody else smile, it warms us up, right? And it's like, oh, that's nice, And so anything that we can do to just drop that into wherever we're doing with our content and in person is going to be key.
Wow. I love that. Let's put a bow on this episode. So you've been doing what you've been doing for a while, right? Video coach. And I'm sure there's a use case scenario, customer that, was hesitant, didn't go on video or was on video, wasn't being their true authentic self. And you coach them, you mentor them, you help them. And then there was an outcome and they came up to you or they called you and they said, oh my God, Ed, like, thank you so much. This is what happened from what you told me to do. Cause I'm sure people are listening now and they're like, oh, I don't know if this is still going to work for me. So what's a use case scenario from one of your clients that was like, dude, it works? Thanks so much.
Yeah. So one of my clients who had been doing video a little bit on their own before working with me, just didn't feel comfortable enough and wasn't sure if they were putting out the right content and just wasn't 100% comfortable with it. So after we started working together, got her comfortable, got her the tools and resources she need, started to produce more content on a regular basis and felt comfortable doing it. Because again, it's not about how many videos can you pump out today and tomorrow. It's the long term, right? And being consistent. And shortly after, she had gotten a call from somebody who she didn't know who wanted to sign with her a listing because of one of the videos that they saw on her.
Nice.
And so that was one of her clients. And then another one who saw one of her signs, so regular sign out in, that most agents have, saw her sign, called her. And when she got on the call with them, they acted like she was a rock star and was like, whoa, is this so-and-so calling me back? And she's like, yeah. And they said, I love all your videos. I watch them all the time. I've gone through all of them. And that's why I called you. So again, the video tied in, it's not just the video. Sometimes it might be, but it's adding that into what are you already doing? And in this case, they had the sign, which reminded the client, oh, I need to call her and I watch her. So it's again, those touch points. And then she got another deal. So that's the power of video and being able to layer that into the other marketing efforts that you are doing with your business.
I want to add one little final thought here. And it's not so much everything you've said is awesome.
Yeah.
But also using video in your correspondence with people. I have just started doing this for a few different reasons. One of which is people get busy. They forget about you. You're a real estate agent. I get it. You're like low on the totem pole in terms of importance until they need you tomorrow.
Yes.
But what I've been doing, if a lead has gone cold or is just not responding, is I literally will just like shoot a video and be like, yo, what's going on? Like, we talked for like 45 minutes. I haven't heard back from you. Like, plans changed. Cool. No worries. Just let me know so I don't waste time following up with you. And you wouldn't imagine the amount of conversion that gets. Like, I either get like somebody gets thrown into a trash can, somebody schedules an appointment, or they turn into a nurture, put them in the email newsletter and set the reminder to call them in 90 days.
Yes.
Love it.
So use video to encourage a different way of outreach to get a response that you're typically not going to get from a text or a call or a voicemail.
100%. And I love that you brought that up. And I will just briefly mention that if anybody is going to follow me on Instagram, go ahead and send me a direct message and test it out with recording a video. I am doing this more now with my followers as well, where I'm sending a personalized video in the messages to say hello and connect and just be that resource. And it's so awesome when you can do that. So I appreciate you bringing that up, because you start to get comfortable with video, that you start implementing it everywhere, from your social to your website to your text messages to your Instagram messages, like all of the things. And it makes it really a cool experience.
Dude, I love that. At Liftoff, we have to do email correspondence, and sometimes I'm the guy that gets to put out fires. And if you do a just written message, it could be misconstrued or it could be misread. Are you upset? Are you happy? Exclamation mark. There is no smiley face. So I send out Loom videos. So for our viewers and listeners, check out loom.com, cost you nothing, and you could film a video response. And Jared, one of our head developers on staff, he's like, oh, Norm sent out a Fire Loom video. So it's a joke that we say, oh, there's a Fire Loom video that's sent out. And that's what I did with Ed to build our relationship, because he was he came to our annual event of What's Next for Real Estate. And he was like, yeah, I'd love to be on the podcast. And we met, and here we are. So Man, video is amazing.
It's good stuff, man. I always laugh because when I see Norm sending out a video to a client, I'm either like, okay, we want them to cancel or they're gonna be cool and they'll stay for another 6 months to a year. They just needed to talk to somebody. And I think that's really what you want, right? No one wants to send an email and they get no response, and then the issue doesn't get resolved.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's having that human touch. As much as we can love technology and it can help support us in many ways and make life a lot easier, sometimes not so much, but right, it's easier. We do want to still provide that personal touch wherever we can. And doing that really helps because, again, seeing somebody builds that know, like, trust factor. And it we want to see faces, and things will do so much better when we see faces compared to when we don't.
Yep. I love that. Well, we're at the part of the show now where we want to go ahead and give you the floor, Ed. So viewers and listeners, we're putting bookends on this amazing episode all around video marketing and different approaches, and hope everyone who listened now has some things to take to the bank. That's the overall goal, right? Add value, do the videos, and potentially be able to earn like Crux and potentially do business with someone. So what would you like, as we close out the episode, Ed, to leave with the viewers and listeners and finalize and close out our show today?
Yeah, definitely. One, implement, because you all are learning on a constant basis, which is great, but it's time to implement. And we just had some really good, simple steps that you can implement today. Go practice. Like I said, go on Instagram, send me a DM. I don't care, whatever works for you. So implement is the first one. And then second is, if you need it, I do have a free guide that is going to show you 5 videos that you can start using in your real estate business so that you can start getting more leads. And then I have some extra trainings that I send out as well that can help you around video. So that's something that you can definitely get.
Awesome. All links are down below. Got the website behind me. I love it right here. 5 ways to grow your real estate business with video. And then over here, he has a cool chat with me feature on his website, which I thought was super cool. And as soon as I went to Ed's website, I Slack messaged the team and said, check this guy out. I like this video. Chat thing at the bottom. It's just super unique and different, especially like even for Liftoff, right? To have a live chat with an actual video pop up there, which is really cool. So, man, Ed, this was amazing, insightful, I think informational for all of our viewers and listeners. So thank you so much for your time and being on today's show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, most definitely. Dan, as always, thanks for being an amazing co-host. Glad you're feeling a little better.
Thank you.
And
nice to meet you as well, Dan.
And to all our viewers and listeners, we appreciate your time. And what'd you learn? Comment below. What'd you learn? Subscribe, like. And if you leave a review for streaming this, we would madly appreciate that. That'd be amazing. And as it is our intention for you to take things from our episode to apply to your business, have more massive success, we will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching Real Estate vs. Technology, this week's brand new episode, and making it to the end, your real one. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for new episodes that come out every single week on Fridays at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Also, if you comment on this episode and you like the episode, you'll help this episode get out to more individuals. And if you want to join our Facebook group page, just click a link. It's a Facebook icon on our profile page here on our YouTube channel. Join our group page, network with individuals all across the world, and share what technology you're using to grow your business. The next link is to join our Real Estate vs. Technology brand new IG or Instagram page. If you go on any of our stories, you can see who's going to be on Real Estate vs. Technology before it actually goes live on our YouTube channel. And the last link would be if you want to be on an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. You pick a date and a time. We'll deep dive into your story and technology you're using to share that with other individuals that view our episodes weekly to inspire, enlighten, show up, and show out for people that love to watch these type of podcasts to have more success in their own business. Thank you so much for your continued support. We appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.